Welcome to episode 515 of Salsidoparanormal. And tonight I'm talking about, haunted places in the U.S. And you can always find all episodes of the show on the podcast page, along with links to all social media and other ways to contact me. And that page is salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening, whether you are here for the live streams on Discord or if you listen on the podcast or YouTube feeds or on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of 2 episodes of the show every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Troubled Minds Radio comes on. As always, I want to thank Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, as well as Liam Martin, host of the Exile Minds podcast, for producing my shows and putting them up on the station as you hear them with all the music and everything. And if you'd like to support the show, there are some different ways to do that. You can always share the show with others and rate and review it on your podcast platform of choice. You can also find some books I've written, paranormal fiction and nonfiction, over on Amazon. And you can also sign up for my Patreon page to get 1 extra True Paranormal Stories from the Web episode per month, starting this month. You can join any of the membership tiers there to get that. Or if you want to make a one-time donation, you can do that through PayPal. I apologize, but really that's the only way I've found that works for me in terms of those kinds of services, due to my low vision and technical difficulties and other issues. So, but yeah, thank you all for listening here and being here. And I'm really glad to be back doing these shows again. Tonight, we're talking about another location in Alabama. Still working through the U.S. in order of the states in alphabetical order, and I think I'll have maybe another 3 to 5 of these shows on this state, and then we'll probably take a break from this for a little while and focus exclusively on the book review shows just to get them with the Charles Fort series. Then I'll start up again on the next date at a later date. But doing this whole series just because there are so many places, and even with this series I'm doing on all these places in all these states, anyone I'm sure who's looked into these topics of the paranormal and unexplained will know that this is just what people have found online and reported online just as of whenever I'm recording these shows. This is not in any way, I don't think it's possible to make a complete list of places that are said to have paranormal activity, because I think paranormal activity happens all around the world. It's just a matter of when and how often and who's there to see it and how often they report it. So, but I think it's been amazing to do this series, and we'll do a sort of a breakdown of what like patterns that come up as from all these shows as we get deeper into it. And it's been a lot of fun doing the research for this and finding articles about these places online that we can look at and that aren't just from sort of paranormal themed websites. Some of them are from news outlets. So all these links will be in the episode description to these articles I'm going to talk about tonight. I might not even get through all 3 of them, but I will include all of them anyway in the episode description. And we can go from there. And so, let me see here. Okay. This first article I want to talk about is from abc3340.com. I'm guessing that's some kind of possibly an AM radio station, not sure. But the title of this article reads, "The Alabama University with a Reputation for Spooky Sightings." And this is, of course, talking about, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, Montevallo, Alabama, and the university there. So this article says, let me see here. Someone in the article here named Grace didn't know about the history of the main hall at the University of Montevallo until after she moved in, and she heard a lot of stories about it once she got involved in basically once she moved there. And so let me see here. Looking at this article more here, Grace lived in Main Hall for 2.5 years. In that time, she said that she witnessed some strange things, some eerie things. Apparently, Grace saw a composite, I'm guessing just an object that was built in a class, fall randomly. Okay, a composite is the pictures of the old sorority sisters on the wall. So it's a picture. She's seen many of these pictures, similar pictures, fall. She's even seen people's footsteps just stop in front of doors. So I'm guessing she means she's heard the footsteps just stop in front of doors. She's seen shadows pass through windows. That's an amazing one. And a ton of stories from other people there who have had other experiences as well. Let's see here. The article next goes to Professor Heatherly, has been the university's archivist since 2007, and he mentioned that something tragic did happen to in the main hall to a student there, but we don't really need to go into that. But basically, ended up passing away there. So let's see here. It says the school's board of trustees at the time. Goes more into that. So, the stories say that this young woman can be heard running in the main hall. Let's see here. Something else that's rumored to have stuck around is a certain image on a door. Those are always amazing. Says to this day, one of the things that they display there every Halloween is the door to this young woman's dorm room. Because, and that's according to Heatherly, that Professor Heatherly, and apparently you can see the face of this. So apparently there was a fire, is what happened, and this young woman passed away there because of this fire. But her image is burnt. At least the image of a face is burnt into this door, and so that's odd. Another campus ghost story centers around the Civil War and the first president of the Alabama Girls Industrial School. Says Professor Heatherly told the news outlet that, according to legend, what is now Reynolds Hall was used as a hospital for wounded Confederate soldiers. Now, of course, hospitals throughout time seem to be hotspots for paranormal activity, just because of all the life and death going on there. So apparently the story, let me see here. So it says Henry Reynolds, the first president of the school, was also a lieutenant in the Confederate Army. And the story goes, while Reynolds was defending the town, Union soldiers attacked, killing troops in the hospital. So says that from that day forward, Reynolds vowed never to leave. So the portrait of Reynolds that hangs in the parlor of Reynolds Hall, according to everyone that's there, a lot of people that are there, apparently in that picture, his eyes will follow people. That's amazing. And again, that goes into, how is that done? Is that contact? Is that some kind of telepathic contact? Projection? Anyway, it says that if you take that picture off the wall, he reappears the next morning. So he's also apparently constantly patrolling the building, so you can hear the sounds of boots and the doors and the windows as he patrols the building on the inside, basically there to protect the building for the rest of time. So that's odd. Let's see here. So looking at the rest of this here, this is a good sized article. Let me see here. We might only go through this one. We'll see. Says that as for eerie encounters, and it has a list here, says that people. Let me see. Professor Heatherly says he hasn't had any experiences there, but he says it can be a little unnerving knowing the history of the building, that particular hall, and what all supposedly took place in the building. Because again, it did mention a lot of that was a legend. So, but there are reports apparently of activity there. So, again, you have to wonder with these legends, what is the actual reason for the activity there? Is it the legend that somehow all these people who became aware of that legend sort of contributed to it, to the energy and to the activity, or was there something that really did happen there that the legend is meant to explain why there's activity there? It's hard to say. Let's see here. Other locations is known as the King House. It's one of the oldest buildings on the campus. And most of the stories around there center on the man who had the house built in 1823, Edmund King. Professor Heatherly says that King was really wealthy. He had most of his money in gold coins. So one of the ghost stories is that when you're in the house, you can hear the clinking of him counting money. And then you can hear one of his, of course, at the time, he had slaves, say greed in the background, say the word greed in the background. So other stories have King dying while attempting to bury his gold to keep it from Union soldiers. So some people have said they've seen a light bobbing through the former orchard. So again, you have lights. So often happens in paranormal activity here. And of course, the last episode of the show I just recorded was featured lights in the review of the complete books of Charles Fort there. So let's see here. Heatherly said that King actually died 2 years before Union troops came to Montevallo. But that doesn't stop the stories or the fun when guests of the university stay in the King House. So right there you see that the legend and then the historical data don't match. So that makes me wonder again, what's causing the light? Let me see here. It says that there are some odd stories, funny stories. Apparently people that were on that were basically looking for ghosts, looking for paranormal activity late at night. Let's see here. So apparently there was someone that was staying in the house one night and encountered the people that were looking for paranormal activity, and the people thought there was things going on when there wasn't. So that's always also a possibility in a lot of experiences. You have to sort of look into that. But anyway, so that's that article here. And again, this is from a news outlet. which I love finding these articles about these places that do appear on, again, these sort of paranormal haunted places lists or sites. But then you have articles from major news outlets that talk about these encounters and these experiences. So really neat article there. Let me see here. So let me look at here, find the next of the articles. Excuse me. This next one is from ShelbyCountyReporter.com. So again, this is another one, not a paranormal themed website. In fact, the article we probably won't get to is the one that is from more of a paranormal themed group or the website company. This is from, again, so I just mentioned already, ShelbyCountyReporter.com. Title reads, "The Ghosts That Haunt Montevallo." And so let me see here. Now, this is about, again, about that same university from a different person, a librarian with the last name of Lowe, Lowe, tells the ghost stories of the university in the King family's cemetery on campus. So, apparently the ghost lore of the university, which has passed between students and residents of the area for years, was shared during a ghost walk on the university's campus on June 11th, I'm guessing of earlier last year. Also, I haven't said this yet. I forgot because I'm busy with these shows. Glad to be here with everyone in 2024. So, Lowe, who is the new director of the U of M, that's Montevallo, Carmichael Library, led a walk around the campus, telling the stories of the university's most infamous ghosts. Lowe said that she was a reference librarian and people would ask all the time about the ghosts. And so she said that they decided to set the story straight and inform people of the real stories. And again, that's important because from the last article you see that the history and the legends don't always match. So it says the main ghost stories derive from the King House, main dorm, and the King House Cemetery. So the first stop on the ghost walk involved the main dorm. And let's see here. They go over that first story there of, I believe, I'm not sure how you say it, Condi? Cundie? The one that passed in the fire. So they cover that. And looking at this here, so the ghost stories began not long after she had passed. Girls reported hearing screaming and moaning in the hall. Now, hopefully that, again, is residual. Also, the wooden door to her dorm room, you could see her face, eyes, nose, and mouth with flames. We had to put the door away because it became such a curiosity. So I'm guessing they mean it was burnt into the door. Wooden doors, I always wonder about that. What kind of energy gets sort of, not so much in that extreme of a fashion, but what kind of energy gets trapped or gets put into wooden doors? But the second most famous ghost is that of Mr. Edmund King, the man who built the King House in early 1800s. So it's located on, the King House is located on campus and was considered a large house in its time with glass windows and 2 stories. Lowe describes the ghostly wanderings of Edmund King in the house, apparently reported by students that were there staying at the campus at the time. So, wow, already almost done with the show here. King and his wife Nancy had looked like it was no, but it's 10 children. Wow. He was alive when the Civil War started and maintained a fruit orchard behind his house. Lowe said King would wander the grounds and the family cemetery and the orchard. And so he would wander around and carry a shovel and lantern. Lowe said after his death, the stories of the lights that shine at night started. So that's amazing. Maybe the light that is seen is from some kind of an apparition of the lantern. People say that they see lights and the curtains of the house move, and they say he's looking for the money and silver he buried in his fruit orchard. So to this day, he's seen with a lantern. And mentions more about the ghost walk. And there was part of a walking tours that the Montevallo Chamber of Commerce was hosting during the month of June. So, and it has information about the next one, but this is from a little ways back. So, a lot of neat stories there. And again, it's amazing how often the legends and the history, they don't match, and yet there's still activity in these places. So, just wanted to point that out. And so I do have one more article here. We're not going to really get through it all, but this is from a pretty good website. I've never really had a problem with it for all the things that I've looked up and everything. Hauntedhouses.com. And the title of this article reads Montevallo University. And it's basically just the name of it. So, says adult spirits here strongly care about the students. So, apparently there are still 2 college-aged female spirits that interact with the people there. So, and again, there's more in this article here. A lot of pictures. Oh, there's some pictures. And I'm guessing it's just going to review a lot of what I've already talked about here. But I would definitely check out this article for more, just in case there's anything that I didn't get to. I used to like to go through all the articles I find about a place, but the problem with that is, unless I find like 4 articles or 5 articles about a place, which sometimes I do. There's Fort Morgan, I believe it was the last one. I found like 5 articles, and that ended up being like 2 episodes. But this one I found 3 articles, and a third article is not really enough for a whole other show. So, and I don't mind sort of leaving things for you all to check out on your own whenever you have free time to read another article. So I think I'll just do that for this one here. And that's where we'll stop with that. And again, there'll be I'd probably another 5 or so episodes. And in this series on Alabama. Yeah, let me see, looking at the chat here. Lots of effort goes into building a door, and that's from Jay, good friend of the show. Has been a guest on here a few times. So, yeah. Thank you all for listening, and hope you all enjoy this series on haunted places. And we have a very long way to go. We're just working through towards the end of Alabama. So, thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all on the next episode of Salsidoparanormal. Take care.